So if you are interested in being someone that we interview, in sharing your story, in empowering others, make sure to inbox me or email me at stillstandin, and that's STANDIN Ministries @gmail. All right, and that way I can connect with you and we can schedule some time and see about having you on with us. Okay. All right. Now imagine going almost every day, hearing nothing but negative. Imagine driving down the road and almost out of nowhere hearing, why don't you drive off the side of the road? Imagine hearing, there's nothing for you to do, you're too old, there's no future for you, there's no hope for you. Imagine hearing stuff like, who would want you? Or who cares about life? Or everything's messed up anyways. Talking about negative thinking. That voice, those constant words that I used to hear all the time were from myself. Not a friend, not my spouse, not an enemy. It was from myself. Imagine that. I know a lot of you, even if it's not to the level of depression now, I went through depression. But even if it's not to that level, I know a lot of you experience thoughts that are negative. Negative thoughts will hinder you from moving forward. Let's say you try to start something new, right? If you're watching this channel, if you've subscribed, if you're a part of this journey with us, then you obviously want to make a move forward. But it's already hard enough to keep going sometimes, you know, because then you start to doubt in, does anybody care what I'm doing? You know, if it's a service that you're trying to give, is it working? Is it worth it? Then you have the thoughts that are like, I'm too tired, I'm too busy, maybe tomorrow. You're already trying to build good habits, trying to get your mind where you want it and need it to be to get things done. Now, that's hard. Just like muscles, if you don't use them in certain ways, they're not going to develop, right? That's your mind. When you were going through or still going through whatever seems to discourage you, hinder you, stop you from feeling like you're worthy or you're able to do big and great things, to step into your purpose, to find out what your destiny is, no matter how crazy and ridiculous it might seem, you just feel like, I don't know about that. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. If you don't start exercising your mind to think the way you need it to think, it's going to continue to think the way it used to. Simple as that. Your old habits, the way you're used to doing things, your mind adapted to the environment that you were used to or are still used to. Some of you are still in an unhealthy environment. It's adapted, and it's going to continue to think those negative thoughts. Go ahead and drive off the road. Go ahead and jump. Crazy stuff. Just forget it. Lay here. Nobody cares. Nobody's thinking about you. Whatever those negative mindset, those thoughts are, we need to get rid of them. Here's what helped me. So for a long time, come on, Sam. Oh. She was eating.
Sorry.
What did you say? Oh gosh. Okay. So now that she's nice and full.
Sorry.
I'm just curious. Have you ever experienced depression? Could you say what you said?
I guess yes, but I think I don't know, because I know there's different degrees.
Yes, there's different degrees.
I think it was mild, but I did experience it. I've experienced it before, definitely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Tell me more about. I didn't know this, so I want to hear.
Oh.
What happened and how, what helped?
Oh my gosh, what really, I think, just even on this topic, talking about healthier lifestyle, whether it's with eating, exercise, I think just getting up and out.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're around people that maybe make you laugh, just joy and keeping yourself busy and productive can help. Because when I was in that time, being alone wasn't really good.
Yeah.
It wasn't good to be alone.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, depending on the degree, like she said, my depression, I wanted to be by myself a lot of the time. And, but I noticed that when I was by myself, that's when a lot of those negative thoughts would happen. And there was no countering that because I myself was too weak to encourage myself or to speak life into myself or deny those thoughts, because guys, they're lies.
Yes.
But
yes,
so what helped you to get going?
I'm thinking about the times that it occurred. Probably the lowest time was in my marriage, going through a lot of challenges and issues that were occurring at the time, and then going through a separation and divorce. But mainly just certain decisions, life choices that I made, and I guess the reality of those decisions and and choices I made in life, being in certain circumstances. Once I got moving and going, that's what kind of helped. When it was like, whether it was like, for example, if you're not working, whether it's on something, everyone doesn't have to work a 9 to 5, but if you're working on something, if it's you have certain gifts and talents, purpose, and you're working on, you find yourself busy and actually physically moving and doing things, you kind of don't have time. You start feeling good. You don't have time to kind of settle in those lies, like she said, those thoughts, that try to inundate your mind and make you feel kind of stuck. And so once because at the time I was a stay-at-home mom, but once I started working and moving, there was a lot of instability occurring and change. But once I really got in a job and started feeling productive, there was progress being made, and I was getting recognition at work and things like that. And then I would keep myself busy if it's, thank God for girlfriends, but like going over to my girlfriend's house, calling, hey, let's go do something. Even if it's as simple as go to the movie, go to the park, something. But I always kept, and then I was in church, keeping myself busy around other godly women, people like-minded. I just didn't sit. I found when I was sitting and not doing anything in that season I was in, that it was just, all I could see was that in front of me. But once I got going and busy, it just felt so good. Like I didn't even, that wasn't even in the forefront of my mind anymore. That really helped. Just productivity and being busy. And the type of people that you surrounded yourself by, that I had around me. Very, very crucial. That was a major one. The type of people I had around me.
So a few things I want to know is it's not going to happen overnight, right? This change of mindset, this getting back to a healthy mind, it's not going to change overnight. And you're going to have what you can call relapse, where and triggers. So even if it's not depression, right? Let's say you just really discouraged, what have you? Just you're going to experience, and it's normal, times where even if you start going and you start doing things and for whatever reason it doesn't meet your expectation, for example, you're going to feel like a failure. You're going to feel like, dang, it's not all that I thought it was going to be, or maybe I'm not good enough, or whatever. Guess what that is? Negative thoughts again. Okay. So recognize that it's not going to happen overnight. Recognize that you're going to have triggers. So whatever really discouraged you before, maybe you had coworkers that were just really not cool, didn't talk to you for whatever reason, disrespected you because of whatever your position is or is not, right? Then anytime you come across anybody that might not speak to you a certain way, you might be reminded of your experiences at that job. And that becomes the trigger, or your spouse, or a friendship, or a financial situation. Just different things that might have happened will become a trigger. So recognize those triggers. Now, what really helped me is I really had to learn to just encourage myself. And in that, along with being busy, that was true. Okay? 3 things that I think are super, super, super important in this crucial time when you're trying to get your mind back healthy, where you can encourage yourself, right? So before you get to that point and effectively encourage yourself, surround yourself by people that are for you. For you meaning they want you to be successful. They want to see you doing bigger and better things. They believe in the vision, the goal, the purpose, the destiny, the gifts that you have. And they can't help, because they're for you, to naturally just encourage you. The second thing is allow yourself to get busy and moving in something. Anything, like she said. It's really, really tough depending on where you're at mentally, right? But that's where those friends come in, right? To just get you going. Then you want to do something. Don't allow yourself to just stay put. If you're a stay-at-home mom, make the most out of pouring into those kiddos. God, what is my purpose right now? What am I supposed to be doing right now with what I have? I'm a stay-at-home mom. You know, whatever else you're trying to get into, work on where you're at and what you're trying to get into. But work, do stuff, be busy. Don't put off. I think one thing that I did that really got me into depression, like just made me just lose myself, is what happened. I lost myself. I stopped doing the things that I had passion for. I poured myself into my family, which is not a bad thing, into my kids, which is not a bad thing, into my job, but none of that was necessarily in the area of my passion. And so I started to become really like, who am I? What am I? What am I supposed to be doing? I just felt really empty and unfulfilled. What was your breaking point, though? Like breaking point, where? So you were able to get up. You surrounded yourself by people who helped you laugh. And let's say, did you have any relapses?
Yeah.
How far until like
it happened? Yes, definitely, absolutely. I was just thinking about that, because I think, okay, so we're in 2018. I separated back in 2015, so 2 years, some odd later. That it's taken really to kind of. 2015 was rough. I mean, I had moments where faking it till you making it, you know, kind of thing. Putting on a face, but breaking down, trying to be strong. And in 2016, there was a lot of adjustment and change occurring in my life. So definitely I would have moments where thought I had a certain expectation, or I thought this was going to happen, and it didn't. And it really hit me hard, feeling, you know, those thoughts and those negative thoughts. But I mean, throughout every step of the way, God's been so faithful. I think the definite thing that, you know, got me through it was God, because I remember the second, so from 2016, just getting kind of grounded in a church and attending church regularly and certain classes within the church, and getting poured into, and then a lot of prayer, reading. And then I went to like it was like a retreat thing for women. Oh my gosh, that was incredible. It was so refreshing. I mean, I felt so restored and rejuvenated and refreshed from that experience, because it was like an experience. And so I think putting my focus in the right place, when that happened, I just started feeling weights, like certain things just lifting, and where I was able to kind of, it was like a fog removed, and see more clearly. And so, and not that I don't feel discouraged, disappointed, right. Those things still happen, but now I don't just sit in this place where it just feels like, you know, you're kind of like bound to, and there's just no hope. Because there's points of hopelessness that occurs, or that can occur when you're in that. And I had that, but it was this sense of like, just remembering, looking up, you know, God, I still have, there's a glimpse of and glimmer of hope, even when it may not seem like that, or may not like appear that way. God, you got me, and you're going to see me through like you always, you know, have before. So I think, yeah, just, that was it. It was definitely it. Crying out to the Lord, and yeah, that was really it for me. I think it was God just going through those experiences, because they were necessary. One thing I had learned too, that this was interesting. So going through divorce, I was attending like a support group for divorced people, okay, and at church. And they really emphasize, because they go through every emotional experience that you will have through that, and all the different things. But on this topic of just depression and mental wellness and stuff like that, they do talk about how important it is to go through the pain, even go through and experience depression. Now, they do address, like, because there's different degrees, that not talking about severe depression and things like that. And if they're like, you know, they always make mention, please get help if it's really severe and you're, you know, wanting to potentially harm yourself, or, you know, things like that, because they want to, you know, take care for you as a church. But just that it's normal, and you might think something's wrong with you, but it's normal to experience some degree of that discouragement that can be like a depression. I mean, somewhat like depression, to experience that when going through things so traumatic as divorce or whatever other life, like death, loss of a child. That's what I'm thinking.
Lots of things.
That's completely normal. And they said that it's like a grieving process. In order to heal, you have to, like we were talking about forgiveness last week, and how you need to go through, you've got to forgive in order to heal. Well, you kind of have to go through whatever those emotional responses are going to be, unless it's really severe, in order to heal as well. So it's like, what? But like pain, going through the pain and heartache and the grief and the depression of that experience is going to help to rebuild you and restore you. So that was really interesting, because I did go through that, and I did find after those, I did feel a little stronger each time. You know, you let it, instead of just sitting it, but, you know, whether it's crying, acknowledging it, you know, just going through that. And if you need help, you need a shoulder to cry, you need someone to talk to, you need to vent. Those are all forms of however you deal with it, but processing it all.
Yeah.
It's all a part of the healing process. Is very healthy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, after, you know, I had mentioned before in the former video, 7 years of really tough marriage, right? I hit depression, okay? And I had a certain mindset, right? And I, again, I was just so confused. I didn't know. I have big dreams, guys. I have really big dreams. And I honestly felt like I used to tell myself, oh, God's gonna do it through my kids. I was ready to go. I was like, hey, you know, I'm cool. Whenever you're ready, Lord, I'm ready. Because I just felt like, man, so much time has passed. You know, I'm older now. Maybe it's not for me anymore. All these goals and dreams and hopes and aspirations are not for me. Maybe it's going to be through my kids. And so when towards the end, when it was about to, when divorce was happening, I just had such a heaviness here. I had such a heaviness. And I understand now that it was grief. I was grieving. And oh my gosh, I just remember praying and crying out to God. So listen, surround yourself with strong people. Make sure you get busy, do stuff. And never lose connection with God. Those are the three very important things. So important, yes. To work this muscle called your mind, to get healthier, right? I was so, it was just like a really deep down sorrow that I felt, and I had to fake the fun because I have 4 kids. So I was still, you know, and I homeschool. So I was homeschooling. I was trying to take the kids to, you know, to the movies, just, you know, act like everything's normal and everything's okay. But deep down inside, oh my gosh. So at night, it was me and God. Make sure you take that time. You acknowledge the feelings that you have. You don't act strong. If you feel weak, that's when God is the strongest. Yes. Yes. Lean on him. Literally lean on him. Because he is honestly going to give you the strength. And those of you who doubt God's power, those of you who are not believers yet, I challenge you. I dare you to give him a try. What are you going to lose? Accept Christ as your Savior today. And go ahead and ask God, God, what's going on in here? What's going on in here? Remove it. I kid you not. I remember the next day, I said to God, it was early in the morning. He woke me up. It was like 5 in the morning. And I said, God, because I promise you, it felt every day, I didn't want to get up. And it felt like I was bound to my bed, meaning it was like hard to get up. My will, I wanted to get up. I wanted to move forward. But everything else inside of me felt like I was like strapped to the bed. It felt like I wanted to do big things and great things, but I couldn't move forward. It was really weird. It's like I couldn't move forward because of this heaviness, because of my mindset. Negative thoughts just coming left and right, left and right. And I didn't know what to do with these negative thoughts to turn them around. So this morning, not today, but this one day, wake up at 5 in the morning and I said, God, you're asking me, because I felt a tug, you're asking me to do things. You're showing me to do things. I want to step into purpose. I want to utilize my gifts, but I can't. Like literally, I can't. I can only think so clearly. I love how she mentioned the clearness. There's a cloudiness. Yeah. When your mind is not fully healthy, there's a cloudiness, and you it's literal, guys. You can't think clearly. Like I can only see part of the picture, but not enough to start getting things done. And I was like, God, you're calling me to do this. How am I supposed to do this if I have all this heaviness, all this brokenness? I can't think straight. I was straight up with God. He's that awesome. Be straight up. He already knows what's going on, but it's important that you recognize where you're at. I acknowledge the feelings I was having. And guess what happened? I kid you not, guys. I kid you not. God is so awesome. Minutes later, I remember getting up, and I didn't really know I didn't know what to expect, right? I just knew, okay, I got up, I started my day. I remember being in the car after dropping off my daughter at school, and something that would have normally got on my nerves When you're in an unhealthy mindset, you snap easy. You don't have very much patience. You may have some, but you don't have very much patience. I would normally snap at the kids like, come on. I don't remember what happened to the kids in the back seat, but I laughed about it and I addressed it, but I felt lighthearted. And I remember thinking like, okay, because I felt good before, you know, I was and thought, oh, I'm over depression. Yes, I've been delivered. And then had a relapse. So thinking, okay, wait, no, I'm not over depression. So I said, okay, wait, I'm going to give it another day. So I went through that day just feeling so light. What is that scripture that says he will turn your sorrow, change your sorrow for dancing, or
trade it your sorrow for joy.
Trade your sorrow for and your mourning for dancing?
Dancing too.
Something like that? Yeah. That's what happened to me. The word was manifested. I promise you. The second day passed. Same thing. Third day passed. And it's not like things weren't happening where I would get upset, but it wasn't enough to move me. My reaction, my actions, or lack thereof, were not impacted by how I felt or what I was thinking. And guess what? My mindset began to change. Fast forward, I'm still in the middle of my divorce. And guess what I've done? I've started this channel because I said, I want to start living for God. I want to start living, period. And there was plenty of times where I was like, I don't know if this is going to work out. I don't know what I'm doing. This is all new. And God said, just follow me. Just do what I say. There was one day where discouragement came. It's going to come, right? And the great thing is, and I felt like, oh my gosh, this is such a victory I have to share. I didn't give up. When discouragement came, I sat there and I was like, I love my kids. Praise God for this house that I have that I'm living in right now. Uh-oh. My battery wants to die. I'm going to grab the cord in a second. But I just started thanking him. I started speaking life into myself. And that's when I knew that I had done enough mentally to exercise my mental muscles, what I like to call it, to be on my own. Now I can do stuff. Of course, I still rely on God, but my need to really lean on my friends is not necessary. Now I can help pull them up. I can help pull them along. Now I can help pull others along. And there's been no relapses. It's really a new mindset. So one other thing that I think is important is encouraging yourself. Speaking life into yourself. And you continue to will yourself to do that anytime you're discouraged. You know, I'm big on perspective. Make sure you take the right perspective on situations. This ministry that I started, I don't care if I don't have 10,000 followers. I remind myself anytime I want to get discouraged, right, that even if this word, these experiences reach one person, I've done a great thing. Some people out there want to hurt themselves, want to end their lives, want to literally just give up. Sit every day at home and feel like this is all there is to life and don't really entertain anything more. Yet God has put such purpose in you, gifts in you, and you're not using them. I know you feel unfulfilled. I know you do. I know you're not satisfied. I know you're unhappy. it's time to do something about that. What are you doing now that you didn't think you would be doing at this point in your life?
I guess I would say being a single parent and like a single mom.
Being a single mom, okay. You get that charger.
Yeah, I always, that was something that I guess it's kind of fearful, something I didn't ever want to go through or experience, or didn't ever think I could probably handle, but by God's grace, yeah, I would say that, being okay with myself, and kind of enjoying that time. I don't think looking back, ever, that was something thought I could do, because even when I was single prior to being married, not to, too much, personal life.
Trying to give you all the information.
But I was always dating someone, or, I felt the need to always have to be in a relationship or have someone that I was dating. And it was kind of like this, not a dread, but almost like being single or being alone, some terrible thing. But on the flip side now, not that I don't just have that desire like most people naturally do to one day be with someone, the right person and things like that. But oh my Lord, it has been so nice just to have me time, and I'm like, I like this, I'm doing this, okay, where I actually would go to the movies by myself and look forward to it, enjoy it. I mean, have my girlfriends, and from time to time we can go hang out, but it's nothing like when I could make a decision by myself. I'm going to go to the movies? Yeah, I'm going to go to the movies. I want to do this, or I'm going to go here, I'm going to go eat here. Even if there's just something, I always wanted to do that, now I could just go do it. But yeah, I think it's just as simple as that. Just enjoying me and being by myself, looking forward to more of the endless possibilities of now that I am by myself, or to say by myself, God's always with me, but being a single person, not in a relationship, was what I mean, and not having to feel validated, like having to be in a relationship to feel validated, to feel like you are something or you're doing something, So I would say that it's been really, really good. And I've been enjoying that. And so, yes, that's what I would say.
I think we naturally like to feel validated.
Yes.
Oh, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So some of your issues might be relationships. You tend to enter unhealthy relationships because it validates you. It makes you feel
like you have someone.
Yeah.
Like
you don't feel loved outside of being in a relationship, even if there's no love in the relationship.
Right. That's so crazy. The mind.
That's your mindset, guys. Yeah. Honestly, it is.
Yeah.
Something that helped me just to also work my mind muscles was, like she said, the word is super important. My very, very, very first video that I did January 1st, it was 3 a.m. and I felt God tugging, and I said, fine. I had no idea what I was doing. So it's like, I don't know, it's like 15 minutes long or something. It's super long. And, but it's really me just introducing myself and what I'm going to be about. But you gotta get poured into. So prayerfully, hopefully you have a church home. Make sure you make it to those services. There are groups, what are they called? Life groups or
life groups?
Life groups.
Yes, life groups, small groups.
A lot of, small groups or life groups that are at the church, most often, sometimes at people's houses, that you can go to. And it's really just to get fed. And of course, there's some life groups that pertain to specifically what your need might be. It might be a life group for single moms. It might be a life group for women that have been raped. It might be a life group for broken homes, or, there are so many. And guess what? If there's not one, you have the potential to start one. Okay? Get rooted in your church home. Make sure you connect with whomever you need to connect with and see about starting one. Honestly, that's your homework. That's your challenge. But be the change. So I made sure that I went to service, and I just remember feeling so blessed and honored to just be at service, because that time of worship, that time of praise, it was so filling. If you're an empty cup, you poured out so much. You know, when life is hard, and depending on how you take what life is, because guess what? Life's going to continue to happen. Whether I have a healthy mind or not right now in this very second, life is going to happen. But because of my mindset, whatever is thrown at me that I cannot change, I'm going to take it differently. So going to church and doing all this stuff is really going to work those mind muscles to get you in a place where you react differently. You make decisions, and you're able to continue to persevere and move forward in spite of what happens. This is the mindset of the successful, guys. This is the mindset of those that have achieved great things. And it's not because their mom was some spectacular person or a different God created them. We were all created by the same God. We all have awesome gifts. We all have the potential to do great things. And your great thing might just be being a school teacher. But the impact that you have on those kids' lives, because they are the future, wow. You don't know how impactful you can be in somebody's life. But this mind of yours really needs to get healthy again. Start thinking positively instead of negatively. What is something, is there anything that I haven't thought of that you can think of? Because those are things that work for me that would feed the mind. Going to church, we said, you know, while you're in the process, staying connected to God, staying connected to those friends that are for you, getting busy. What else?
I definitely think if you can, and even if it's baby steps.
Baby steps. Always.
Lifestyle choices, like we started the segment,
okay.
Just healthy
eating.
It really, believe it or not, does make a huge difference on the mind. You know, if the brain is tissue, it's like an actual tangible thing. I know the mind, it's like somewhat spiritual and and a conscious thing in terms of your mind, but there's actual chemical things happening in the brain based off of the foods that you're putting in your body. And if you're already feeling pretty crappy or low, there's certain foods that kind of won't help bring your mood up, and then there's other foods that can help with that. So definitely the way you maybe eating, taking into consideration that as much as you possibly can, trying to eat, make better choices with food, exercise. We're not talking about if you're not like a hardcore gym, weightlifting type person, such as myself, but the little things, getting out to get some fresh air, oxygen, just walking, okay? A mile little walk.
Start there.
Yoga, I like yoga, but yoga is supposed to be really good. They have different types of yoga for stress relief and bringing up the mood. So things like that. She touched on, did you mention prayer? You mentioned prayer. You mentioned prayer, but yes. So that's what I would say can kind of help along with the other things for sure. So when you're at home, if you're, you're eating or whatever, and then getting some fresh air, just going to get fresh air. Let me think if there's anything else. And then maybe if you, whatever maybe your hobbies are, trying to do that. If you're a reader, you like to read, just trying to, because that helps with the brain. Reading, you're exercising the muscle, so reading, maybe if you're a reader, reading books. It really
sounds boring to me.
If you're a reader. Oh, for all the readers out there. Things like that. And watching a really good, funny movie. Comedies always help lift people's spirits.
Laugh. Make sure you're laughing.
A lot of laughter. Yeah.
Even if you got to get a movie, laugh.
Yes.
Make sure you laugh.
Yeah.
That's really big.
Yeah, I think, you know what, Mike? Okay, this is something that just came to mind. Serving. Volunteering, helping other people.
Yes.
Can help you take your eyes off of yourself, your situation, and then the gravity or degree of your situation almost all of a sudden just somehow becomes little, smaller, or completely subsides. But you're like, or it becomes you're able to put things in perspective, and you're like, wait a minute, oh my gosh, my situation, I have so much to be thankful for. You can see, the good. But it's just something about doing that. You're serving, you're stretching out your hands, and giving back to other people. That has been something too that can really help to pull you out of that, with the mind. Because it's a lot of times you'll see when you get out of that fog, it's like it's not real. It's like how can I say it?
Like a dream.
Yes, it's like a fantasy dream or something, but when you realize, when you can see it with new eyes, different eyes, like, oh my gosh, this is not even what I am making it out to be, or how bad I think it is, not that you're dismissing those feelings, emotions that you really have, or if it's something that's like devastating, traumatic, but it's not so terrible, hopeless that life is over, is what we mean. All hope is gone, give up on life, no more dreaming, going after vision, purpose, or living. That's what I mean. Like, it's not, a lot of times it's not as bad when you're able to get things in perspective. So I think that can help too. Serving.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. And that's really true. That's really true. Because this ministry for me, I love serving and giving and helping. That's exactly what this is. This is my therapy.
It's a therapeutic. I was going to say, it's therapeutic. It can be very therapeutic. Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, it's gonna bless you to give. It's gonna bless you to help others. And even if it's just making sure you say hi to a perfect stranger, like a genuine hi, you never know what they're going through. Joining a ministry at church, starting your own thing. These are just examples. Going the extra mile for your kids, if that's really who, the only people that you have contact with on a constant basis. Loving on those you feel are undeserving of love. So co-workers, a boss that you otherwise can't stand, people you can't stand, show them who you are by showing love and showing respect in spite of them. I bet you. That would help me. I don't know if it'll help you, but hopefully that would. All right. And I had a thought. I had something that I wanted to share when you were talking about the mind. I can't think of it right now. But I bet you it's gonna come to me later, and I'm gonna be like, ah. But exercise those mind muscles. Exercise positive thinking. And this is what it was. Okay, so when you're weak, when your mind is unhealthy, it's weak. Okay. Like I compared it to muscles. You can only lift so much, right? The work that we all have to do, our mind is what tells our eyes what we're seeing. Our mind is what tells our emotions what we're feeling. But if you have a healthy mind, like she said, your perspective changes. So your mindset is going to now tell your eyes something different than it that it used to when it was unhealthy. The stronger your mind is, the more you're going to be able to push through when it seems like there's a brick wall in front of you. Your mind's going to be able to tell your body how exactly to leap over that obstacle that is in the way of your journey to move into your purpose and destiny. This is a strong muscle here. Exercise it with positive thinking. All right. Hopefully that helped. Do you have anything else?
I think that pretty much covered. There's a lot we covered. There's nothing coming to me right now, but I think that pretty much covers like the most important things you could be doing, really, to kind of, strengthen, renew, restore your mind in this time. Something really hard or, devastating.
Please make sure to, I'm going to keep this video going. It's going to be on YouTube. I know it's kind of long, so make sure you go to YouTube to watch it. Make sure you subscribe and share the links on your Facebook page, because you never know who else is going through things. Be someone who empowers others. Of a friend, of a friend, of a friend, a family member, of a family member, of a family. You just never know down the chain who really is going to need this. So I'm hoping it inspires you and empowers you. And let's keep pushing it forward and empower and inspire others. Now guess what time it is? I can't sing, but I don't care. It's time for 30-second craze. Okay? We are going to dance. Here's my phone. I'm about to turn on the music. And we're going to dance. And we're going to end this. All right. Love you guys. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what other topics you would like us to talk about, okay?
Ooh.
Yes. So go to the page, our Facebook page at Still Standing Ministries. Inbox us. You can email us. I left the email address in the beginning. It's also on the post page thing here. Let us know. Give us some ideas. What are you going through? What do you need to talk about? What experiences do you want to share or talk about? And we'll make sure to do that. Okay? All right. It's time to dance. Get up. Let's dance. Get up. I'm gonna move you back because I want the dance floor. I want the dance floor. Okay. Yeah. What?
Sometimes you just gotta dance your way through stuff too.
Dance your way through stuff. You can't find nothing else to smile about. Get up and start dancing. It's gonna help you. And it's exercise. That's my famous move. Don't spill it. All right, you ready, Andy? All right, guys. Love you. Hope to see you again. Bye. Be victorious. Renew your mind.